What does being fashionable mean? This outmoded phrase is no longer about snapping up designer pieces at the sales. Being with it today is all about social interactions, tapping into your deepest desires, and being of the time. At the Hyères Festival on the shores of the Mediterranean, creatives are not simply showing clothes, they're also there for photography and accessories, and they don't hold back when it comes to their opinions either.
I'm quite shocked. I was expecting to see more people from the Bronx. Yeah, even though we're in Hyères. I thought I'd come across some crazy people, a bit more crazy than the people you'd expect to be showing their fashion collections and all that. I was very surprised to see it's not the case. But it had been a bit of a thunderbolt. That is, I discovered this fantastic group of women, these fantastic girls, and they're using different languages.
A trio of women who won prize from the Swarovski Accessories Prize for their modern and socially conscious project.
I'm a photographer and I'm hard of hearing, so I've been wearing hearing aids since I was 4 years old. And I think that the hearing aids that we have today look too much like medical prosthetics. The idea is not to hide it, but on the contrary, to embrace it. It's there, it exists, so why not make it into a real fashion accessory?
Optical prosthetics are more often called glasses and can be beautifully designed objects, whereas hearing aids are considered ugly and thus hidden from view.
The main idea is about accentuating the curves of the prosthetic, magnifying it and underlining it. And that way it's more acceptable. You're proud of it.
The idea may have been ultra simple, but its execution a little more complex.
In the beginning, we made a 3D scan of the hearing aid so that we could build the dimensions based on that. Then we moved to a 3D printer, which let us produce it in plastic. So at the start, we went through various 3D versions, and Kate would try them out to check if they were comfortable, whether they felt right. Here, for example, on the top of the device, we have microphones, and you really have to keep away from them because if not, it generates noise. It warps the sound and creates interference, which is uncomfortable. So we went through lots of 3D printed versions, readjusting it in its 3D form to get to an object that is both ergonomic and pleasing in terms of design.
And the aesthetic aspect of these new accessories has been carefully thought through.
I wanted to take inspiration from water for this object itself, but also for the whole collection. That's because when I don't have my hearing aid in, my sonic perception is like being underwater.
An initiative that wowed the jury, a unanimous success.
I feel those kind of people need to have, some beautiful things, to wear at the same time, to helping them to hear better.
An obvious choice for fashion designer Christelle Cochet, who was president of the jury judging accessories this year.
Fashion is truly capable of changing things, the way we do things. For example, when it comes to casting for a show, when I choose to take a multicultural approach, to select different body types, I think there's an appetite for fashion that speaks to all sorts of women.
The photography section, too, is presided by a socially conscious woman at the head of the jury. She's captured countless portraits, documented the women of the militant group Femen, and alongside glossy fashion shoots, Bettina Haas has also spent time in prison photographing female inmates.
When you're young and you're showing your work, you need an editorial line, a stance. You can't just go all over the place. You can't say, here's a landscape, here's a photo of my sister. You have to have a clear project and stick to it.
The prize winner in this category is Irish photographer Eva O'Leary, who studied in California before turning her lens on the all-American way of life. O'Leary made this series of portraits with the help of a double-sided mirror, a utensil that allowed her to explore notions of gender, identity and the beauty industry, and a way to demonstrate how these 11 to 14-year-olds truly perceive themselves. Like Bettina Haas, Eva O'Leary's not a spontaneous snapper. Every picture's meticulously planned, prepared and art-directed.
My camera is both a weapon and it's not. It's a weapon in the sense that it protects me. I'm someone who's not always completely at ease with people, unless it's my family or friends. I can be a little standoffish, but behind the camera, it's completely different. I can go anywhere, photograph whatever, do whatever. My camera is like a shield for me.
Photography and fashion accessories, both a form of modern weaponry to defend against closed mindsets and free up time for living.
On a hot summer's night in 1998, 1.5 million French gathered on the Champs-Élysées Avenue in Paris for a moment of joy, national unity and optimism inspired by a football team made up of black, white and Arab players. They became a symbol of successful integration. 20 years on, what remains of that moment of widespread passion? Sylvain Rousseau and Ashraf Abid meet up with the key figures of the time.
We revisit France's World Cup victory of 1998 this week on France 24.